The Dramatist Guild is the National Association of Playwrights, Composers, Lyricists, and Librettists. For the first time in a generation, our industry is undergoing a tectonic shift. If you're not a member, join today. Learn more at our website.
Hello, and welcome to the Dramatist Live. My name is Joey Stocks. I am the editor of The Dramatist and the director of publications here at the Dramatists Guild. My co-hosts today and every day, every time we've done this so far, I'm so happy, are Amanda Green and Christine Toy Johnson. Both of them sit on council, and they both are members of our publications committee. Welcome and hello, hi.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Well, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I've been in Long Island. My husband has been, he's a doctor. He's been working the past couple of days, seeing his patients, wearing 3 masks, 2 pairs of gloves, and a gown. He's doing okay. And I finished a song, which made me feel really good.
Great.
Yeah, it's 7 minutes and 56 seconds long, which is great. Couple of edits probably to be made, but that was fun. I'm glad. It was nice to finish something, and been managing to get a little work done, and so yeah, it's pretty good.
Great.
Good.
How about you, Christine? How are you doing?
It's been a little bit of a roller coaster this week. I think I'm really trying to strike the balance between, I'm doing a lot of meditating and trying to strike the balance between equanimity and accepting, all of the things, and staying present so that I don't look too far into the future, which I don't know, which nobody knows.
Yeah.
And having that fear that comes along with that. That's where I am. I also, though, am getting a lot of work done, so that helps keep me sane.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, you
Yes.
My morning pages are my meditation. It's sort of all in one, and really more meditation than it is anything else. And I'm in the same boat, Christine. It is all I can do. I really work hard to stay in the moment and not to project into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely look back too often. I'm usually just looking ahead, but sometimes to a fault. So that's where I am.
Well, it's kind of like if you're too happy, you're definitely not in touch with reality.
Right.
The reality we're living with, and if you're not a little scared of the future, you're not human. I mean,
yeah.
So same, yes. It's, we don't know. We just don't know.
We don't know.
Praying for everybody who's not doing well, and hope they pull through. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that you just mentioned your husband, Amanda, because we have a brand new post on the Dramatist blog as of today about it's a story about our regional rep, Anita Vatshell in New Orleans. She is our Gulf Coast regional rep, and she is also an ICU nurse and is right in the mix of everything every day for 7-8 hours a day, something like that.
Yeah, I read that today. It's really a wonderful piece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was really happy to do it. Ed Verdin from New Orleans, thank you very much for writing that and sending that to us. That is up on the Dramatist blog, and if y'all haven't found the Dramatist blog, do so. It's still relatively new to some of you, and it's all public facing and free to share with your friends and loved ones and enemies and everybody in between. Great. I think we have guests here.
We do. I'm very happy to introduce our first guest, who is the Guild's president, my friend, and all of our friends, and a wonderful writer, and just a terrific president and person, the wonderful Doug Wright.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Hey guys, thank you, Amanda. That was really lovely. I was glad to hear that everyone is healthy and well and able to join us today.
Yes.
Yes, same.
It's a good thing. And I think, if I'm correct, Joey, I was invited today to share a statement that the Guild released this past week.
Yeah, I love that.
Indeed.
Yes, and I want to quickly say that sometimes these statements come out and they're attributed to me, but that's a bit misleading because they are almost always the result of several really powerful brains working on an issue. And I have editors and allies who help me articulate these feelings and these issues. And I especially want to thank and acknowledge Christine Toy Johnson for her advocacy, Lisa Kron for her input, and certainly, as always, Ralph Sevush. But this is the statement that we released just yesterday. The Dramatist Guild of America condemns in no uncertain terms the rise of racist, xenophobic, and discriminatory attacks against Asian Americans. As writers, we believe in the power of words to illuminate lasting truths and ennoble us all. We know, however, that words also have the power to inflict irreparable damage. Cruel and inaccurate terminology like Chinese virus or Wuhan virus perpetuate anti-Asian stigma. Driven by vitriolic speech from the very highest levels of government and beyond, attacks against Asian Americans have intensified all across this country. An elderly woman beaten in a New York City subway. A family of 4 in Midland, Texas, set upon by assailants with knives. A 16-year-old boy in California, set upon by bullies and subsequently hospitalized. The words that fuel these crimes diminish us all, degrade the human spirit, and erode our faith in fundamental values like decency, magnanimity, and grace. They also suppress the rights of others through intimidation and by instilling fear. The Guild exists to defend freedom of expression. It in no way supports criminalization of any individual's constitutional right to free and unfettered speech. However, on behalf of our entire membership, and especially during these fractious times, those who are Asian American, we unequivocally decry language that purposefully denigrates, scapegoats, or otherwise terrorizes members of specific and vulnerable communities. And this statement just went up yesterday, and the response has really been overwhelming. I've received numerous notes from playwrights of every stripe writing to express solidarity with this concern. And so again, thank you to my fellow officers and my colleagues at the Guild for taking a stand on this issue.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doug.
Doug and
Thank
Christine.
you.
Appreciate it. All right. Okay. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Yes, we're right here. We're going to do this. Okay, y'all, this is our first time to try this. We're going to try 10 questions. We're going to try 10 questions as a lightning round. And we'll see how this goes. I am thrilled, though, that we found somebody who's game for this experiment. And so Colman Domingo is going to be joining us. Colman is the author of plays like Dot, Wild with Happy, A Boy and His Soul, and co-book writer of the musicals Lights Out, Nat King Cole, and Summer, the Donna Summer musical. The Olivier, Tony, and Drama Desk nominated Obie, Lortel, and GLAAD Award winner, stars in AMC's Fear of the Walking Dead. Hi, Colman.
Hello, how are you, Joey?
Hi, Colman.
I'm well, how are you?
Hi, Christine. How are you guys? I'm
Great.
Amanda.
Good.
Hey.
Hey.
You.
Hey. I'll put you all on this switch to everyone's view. There we go.
Okay. Are you ready for these 10 questions?
I am. I'm terrified, but yes.
You should be.
Before we launch into it, though, what can you tell us what part of the country you're
Yeah.
zooming in from?
I'm in sunny Los Angeles, California right now. The the weather has given us a good reprieve right now because it was rainy and indoors. That doesn't work well for people in California. So we're now out and getting some sanity again. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for joining us from the opposite coast.
Sure.
I appreciate it. All right, let's try this.
Here we go, Colman. Number one, what must you have in order to begin a new play?
What must I have? I have to have a burning question about the play. There has to be a question, something that's been keeping me up at night and it keeps nagging at me because I want to answer that question. So I think I have to have that in order to sit down and write. So when sometimes people say, oh, can you just sit down and start if you have a few ideas? I'm like, no, it's gotta be that burning question. It's gotta be something driving you a little nuts and it's finally worked itself out before you can even sit down and begin.
Okay, great. What must you have in the room while you're writing it?
I must have music in the room. Definitely I need music. And sometimes I need to have something like this. This is a silly hand puppet that every so often I just need to sit with this and we'll just talk to each other. We're like, what do you think?
That's awesome. Oh, I want to steal that idea.
Maybe it's because I'm an actor. Sometimes I need to put props on. I put sunglasses on while I'm writing and I'm typing, and I'm like, it's just whatever I need for inspiration. I need other things. You know what I mean? I need like this. I have no idea why, but I need these.
That's fantastic. All right, what do you need in order to finish the play?
In order to finish the play,
yeah,
I need. I need to have had it read even before I finished the play. I needed to bring some actors into a room, usually just like not in any formal space, but just, hey, come over, have some pizza. Can you read this for me? I need that before, so I can have some questions I can ask some questions to the company. What do you need? What do you think you're looking for? You have questions about the character. So I need that before I even get to the end. I can't do it without having some people in a room to read the words.
When you get stuck while writing, how do you maneuver out of that?
I will usually go for a run. I will go work out. I would think about it. If there's a scene that I'm stuck on, or I don't understand why it's happening, or I'm frustrated, I'll just step away. Sometimes it could be for like an hour, it could be a week, but sometimes it's important to get away from it and come back at it with fresh eyes.
Mm-hmm.
As a writer, what have you not done but want to try?
What have I not done but I want to try? I think, I seem to have tried a lot of things. I usually write from a place of like questions. I'll write a solo play because I hated solo plays. I'll write a dining room drama because I think I have an idea about them. That I think maybe, I've been asked by Jordan Peele in particular to write horror. And I'm terrified in a strange way to write horror because I feel like I didn't understand what it is, but he believes that I would be good at writing horror. So I think, but I'm a little terrified of it. I don't know why. I'm terrified of writing horror. I don't know why. Like, what's that going to bring up in me? I don't know why, but I feel like I might want to try that.
Cool. All right. Whose work do you drop everything to see?
Whose work do I drop everything to see? I think anything by Candor and Ebb. I think I think I've always, even before I've had a relationship with John Candor, I've always I believe that they are the tops for anything theatrical and cinema as well. I feel like I'll drop anything. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go see that. Doesn't matter what it is.
What is the best writing advice you've ever given or received? Either one.
The best writing advice I've ever received was to trust my instincts in the way I tell story. That the way I tell story will be unique and it will evolve, it will grow, but to trust my point of view with characters. For a while, I thought I should go back to school because I don't have any formal writing training. And so I thought for a while, when I was, after I've written maybe 2 plays, I thought maybe I'll go to Juilliard. Now this is a few years ago. I think I'll go to Juilliard or something and get my formal training. And then someone stopped me and said, no, what makes you special is that you respect writing, and your writers write and they will grow, and you learn technique from different things from the process. And so I've been trusting that, and trusting that my point of view and my way into telling story is unique in my own. And hopefully that will continue to grow. And also, I've also taken the advice that I think I like the idea that my writing is not perfect, that there should be a little frayed edges to it. I'm okay if, you know, it's not, I think it's a work of art. It's not meant to be perfect. It's supposed to be interpreted, and people will walk away and they'll love it or not love it. And I think that I also like the idea that it's important. I will tell people it's important to write things that are possibly polarizing. Everyone will not enjoy it, and that's okay. But as long as you have a strong feeling of the way you want to tell the story, that is a good thing. And to not be concerned. Actually, this is something I've learned and I want to share. I've learned to not be so concerned with critics in terms of the way your work is viewed, because they'll always compare you to something that you're like, I've been compared to my work, shockingly enough for me, and not to disrespect Mr. Tyler Perry, would say, oh, he's like a funnier, wittier Tyler Perry. And I'm like, wow, it's interesting. And I thought it would have, well, interesting enough, I said the people I feel like I try to write like are like Nikki Silver, or and so I'm like, I would love for people to write, to compare you to, you know, some other place, not just the quickest Black person you think writes funny, you know, but like, you know, look at a person's body of work and look at what they're interested in, and, you know, I would like to be, you know, I don't know. So that's what I think. That's my advice.
Great. What production do you wish you'd seen?
Oh, well, that's easy. I wish I had seen Dreamgirls when it was performed the first time on Broadway. I wish I was there closing night of Dreamgirls in the 80s.
Love it.
What's your favorite quarantine pastime?
My favorite quarantine pastime has been cooking. I've been cooking everything and making everything from scratch. I've been opening up cookbooks that I've had for years and finally able to, you know, make things. But now, after a month of doing that, it's time to work out. It's time to find something else to do.
Okay, and what are you working on next? The last question.
What am I working on next? I'm working on a few things, but right now, I don't know what we're all working on.
I know.
But the thing that I'm writing right now is a musical using the Stax music catalog. So, you know, Otis Redding, the Staple Sisters, you name it. So I'm writing that for Concord Music and the Young Vic. And so I've been working on a draft of it here. So that's what I'm doing right now. Hopefully it's late. It was slated to go up at the Young Vic in fall of 21, but more than likely it'll be pushed back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's what I'm writing right now. And I'm working on a couple series right now as well. So I'm working on one for HBO and one for AMC.
Very cool.
Nice. Nice. That was it.
We did it.
Great.
Excellent. It worked.
I'm all sweaty and hot and terrified still. I mean,
You were marvelous, and we picked up our cues.
look at us. We did good.
Thank you. That was awesome. That was great.
That was fun.
And I'm getting a hand puppet for sure.
You need Christine, I'm telling you, you need a hand puppet. Anytime you're lost or anything like that, it just makes the room lighter. You know, just, I'll do this on all the Zoom calls. Every so often on a Zoom call, suddenly he'll show up, you know, and he'll have something to say. I still got to figure out his voice. The earlier was a little raspy, like he smoked like 20 packs of cigarettes or something, but we'll see. So get one, Christine. I'm telling you, you need it.
Okay. Maybe its name will be Colman.
Please do it. Oh man, it's good
Coleman,
to talk.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
So very welcome.
Thank you, Colman.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care.
Stay safe.
You
All right,
too.
bye, Amanda. Bye, Joey.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was great. Thanks so much. You know, Christine and Amanda and I were chatting a few days ago, and the topic of collaboration came up. And with everybody quarantined, several people I've heard from are finding new ways to collaborate with their writing partners. And but Christine, you were on the road with Come From Away for so long, and will be again soon, we all hope. But so you and your writing partner, Jason Ma, have been doing the long distance writing thing for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Jason.
I just
Hi,
want to give you a few of your credits so we give you a
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Jason is a writer, actor whose work includes the original musicals Barcelona and Gold Mountain. He is the recipient of the ASCAP Foundation Cole Porter Award for his work as a composer-lyricist. Welcome, Jason. Thanks for joining.
Amanda.
Yeah,
Hey,
welcome.
hi, Jace.
Hi, Chris.
So I
this-
should tell.
Do you
I should
guys
tell you.
Zoom? Go ahead. You guys.
Yeah, I should just tell you that we go so far back. He's one of the few people in my life that I allowed to. Well, he knows how old I am, and but he's sworn to secrecy or I'll kill him, because we've known each other that long. So we made our Broadway debut together as performers in a show called Chuchem. Sometime in the 80s, I don't.
Wow. Yeah.
1989, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've known each other since then, and so we're friends for life, and then collaborators. So since probably, I think it's been 2003 or 4 when we
Something like
start
that.
when we wrote
And-
Barcelona.
What is this? Has the social distancing cramped your style, or is it business as usual for you guys? I mean, do you, in terms of the way you write together?
Chris, you want to go first? Or you want me
No,
to?
you can go. I already talked a lot. So go ahead.
Okay. I think it's pretty close to business as usual for us. The one thing I was thinking about how much, what's great about now is that we can just be on the phone forever and nobody has to go get off the phone.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But what's not great about now is we don't get to sit in a restaunt and eat while we do story meetings.
Very
Which is
true.
what we used to do all the time.
Essential part of the creative process.
What are you guys working on now? What are you writing together?
Well, we have a commission from Village Theater in Issaquah, Washington, to write a new piece, and we have a November 1st deadline for a first draft of everything. Yeah, so it's the core of the story is this language Nushu that was created by women in China during the Qing Dynasty, because they weren't allowed to be formally educated in the language that was more commonly used in the country. So they created a language to write down and read their own feelings and emotions. And so that's at the core of the story. So it's a research-heavy piece, and we've been working on it for a while. It took me a little while to get him convinced that we should write this together, even though he was always the obvious person that I should be writing this with. But I started researching it probably at the beginning of 2019. Yeah.
That's great.
And have
The
you
good thing about this.
Go ahead, sorry.
The great thing about our process is that we've always had to retreat. We're not the kind who sit together in a room with being at the keyboard and Chris over my shoulder and bouncing ideas off of each other. I think both of us are very sort of solitary writers. So what we normally do is we go back and forth. We take it, we work on it, then we pass it back to the next, back to the, our partner. And so that has not changed at all for us. We're continuing to work that way. We're lucky.
Yeah. And also, I think because we know each other so well and we've been friends for so long, we have so much trust in each other, and it's just essential to be able to just know that we not only are, I would say 99.5% on the same page, even before we've discussed something, but that we feel like we're free enough to really talk to each other and exchange ideas. And it's an incredible collaboration.
That's great. Yeah. This is silly sort of technical nuts and bolts kind of a question, but do you have one way in which you collaborate? Do you use lots of different methods? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
First, the worst of the music.
Well, it's not that, actually.
No, I know. But go ahead. That was a good question. Yes.
Generally, I think Chris takes the first pass. When we're writing a song, Chris takes the first pass at the lyrics, and she sends them to me after she's done with the first pass. Then I take a pass and write a melody sometimes an arrangement, sometimes an entire sort of,
Oh,
piano
wait, I have to tell you this. Okay. So when he sends me like, this is the first draft of the song, it will have of 8-part choir and that he sings, because he's been in 5 Broadway shows as well. So he will sing all of the vocal parts and arrange them, and it's like gorgeously produced. And it will be like, this is just the draft of the song, but it's like a full out, could be cast recording.
I do find it useful to actually perform the song. I think because as a performer, to perform the song, because you figure things out, and even as you're recording like a rough demo, you realize, oh, you know what, that looks really good on paper, but it doesn't sing well. And you go back and you change it. And sometimes when you just like kind of plunk out some chords and sing lightly and send it to somebody, there are certain things that don't work once it's actually fully performed by an actor. So I kind of like to go through that process while we're doing the draft. Just, save yourself some time later. So the first time you're in a room with actors, you've kind of ironed out some of that stuff already.
Yeah.
And it's quite entertaining for me to hear him sing always. But yeah, especially when he's doing all of the voices. Chorus.
Do you ever talk into like a phone and make a recording? I don't mean melodically, but sometimes I do with, a composer I work with, like, and then I went to, like however you're hearing it.
I haven't done that with him yet. I have done that for myself when because a lot of times I'll be walking down the street when we used to be able to walk down the street. But just, things will percolate and I will think about a lyric and I will take out my phone and kind of sing it to myself. But I've never actually shared that with Jason. I've just written a lot of stuff down and sent it that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And you guys are you finding this a fertile period in terms of writing between the two of you? I mean, I know there's everything going on. Has it been a fertile time for you guys?
I think so. What do you think, Jason? He's a little frozen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's frozen.
Oh.
Oh, am I still frozen?
Well, your
Can
face
you hear
is,
me?
there you are. Yeah, there you are.
Okay. I think it's been very fertile. For me, it's an escape.
Me too. Me too.
It's actually been a gift that we had this looming over us, this deadline, because now I have something to do with all my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, Amanda and Joey and I have talked about this over the last 5 weeks, that sometimes it's been really hard for people to be able to get out of their head and focus on something creative. But yeah, for me too, it's been when I'm in my deepest despair, if I can just pull myself out of it and say, no, I'm going to concentrate on writing today and find something that touches me or uplifts me. It's really a saving grace.
Yeah, that's great. Jason, where are you joining us from today?
Los Angeles.
Well, gosh, we're on the coasts today.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. I feel like we could listen to you guys talk all day. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks so much. I loved it.
See you later. Sometime soon we'll get to eat together again.
Yes. Please.
Okay.
Be well.
Bye, Jason.
Bye, Jason.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So continuing last week's conversation, we're looking at another college play commission program and how it's navigated moving rehearsal and production online. The program that we're going to talk about today is at UC Santa Barbara. And today we are joined by 2 of its faculty. Christine, would you introduce?
Yes, I'm so happy I can't wait. Right now, I just see their names on the screen. I can't wait to see their faces because I love these 2 women so much. We go way back. Risa Brainin is a freelance director and the artistic director of Launchpad at UC Santa Barbara. She served as resident director for the Guthrie Theater, Associate Artistic Director for Indiana Repertory Theater, which is, I believe, where we first met, and Kansas City Repertory Theater, and Artistic Director of Shakespeare Santa Cruz. Hi, Risa. And Annie Torsiglieri has performed in numerous Broadway shows, including Parade, Blood Brothers, Miss Saigon, and Top Girls, and on many off-Broadway and regional theaters. Her one-woman show, A-Train, won Best Production at the United Solo Festival in 2017 and Best Encore in 2018. A graduate of Juilliard Drama School, she is a professor at UCSB and director of the BFA acting program there.
Welcome.
Hello,
Hi.
hello. So great
And
to
we-
be.
And we used to be neighbors.
Joey
Annie and I used to be
Amanda.
neighbors, yeah.
Oops,
And
sorry,
I'm
talking
sorry
about-
that Jason already left because I made my Broadway debut with Jason a
Oh,
million
wow.
years ago. Please give him my love, Christine.
Wow.
I will.
Nice to see
Awesome.
you. Hi.
That's
It's so great to see you, Christine.
Me too. Me too.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Risa, would you tell us a little bit about Launchpad and what it is?
Sure. Yeah, so Launchpad is our new play development program at UC Santa Barbara. It's housed in the Department of Theater and Dance, and we've been doing it for 15 years. And basically what we do is we bring in a professional writers, but one each year. Kind of our main program is called Preview Production. And so we bring in a professional writer to work on their play with our actors, our students, our guest artists, and our faculty, and we do fully produced plays, but we do them, they never have an opening night, they just stay in previews the whole time. So that's why we call them preview productions. And the writer can continue to work all through the performances.
Awesome.
That's great. And so because we've got a lot of playwrights here.
Yes.
So can you tell us about the submission process? Do you select someone? Do they submit? How does that all work?
It really works. People come to me from all different ways. That people submit things, people are recommended, people I have relationships with. Annie and I work a lot together. Annie has lots of playwrights. So we try to get as many people as we can. We have that one preview production, but then we also do workshops and readings throughout the year as well.
Right. Well, let's bring in Deb and Dan to talk about the play that you guys have just been working on. I think it just happened, right?
It did. It happened 2 weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Deb LaCusta, who is a writer, actor, improviser. Her plays include Old Man in a Big Car, In Exile, Lock Up the Grass, and The August. She writes for The Simpsons and co-wrote the musical Empire Burlesque, Disney ASCAP workshop member, hosted by Stephen Schwartz. She co-founded Chicago improv scenario group Instant Theater and the Improv Co-op and Immediate Theater in LA. And Dan Castellaneta, a 4-time Emmy recipient, is a consulting producer, writer on The Simpsons. And his plays include The Sons of Mothers, Food Court, Where Did Vincent Van Gogh, For Piano and Harpo, also starring as the acerbic Oscar Levant. Co-writing with Deb LaCusta, they've written Fortunes, Empire Burlesque, Earthers. He is also a co-founder of the Instant Theater Improv Co-op, Immediate Theater, Second City in Chicago, not Chicago. But please welcome both of you.
Hi, Deb and Dan. How are you? Good. We're having trouble hearing you.
Oh,
No,
There you go.
there you go.
is that better?
It's so good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us. I'm so happy to meet people because you guys came recommended from the fabulous Sherry Coons. So anybody who she loves has got to be good people. So I'm glad you're here.
Great. Yes, she's great people.
Yeah, she really is.
So tell us about the commission. Tell us about your commission.
Well, actually, we had a play, and Risa and Annie were going to do a workshop right before everything got shut down. Literally an hour before we started, we were getting in the car, ready to go. The actors were lined up. We were going to rehearse, and Risa's texting me and calling and saying, the school is now shut down. So it was just canceled. And we're like, okay, let's just go home. Whatever. So sad. So, but then a couple weeks later, Risa's like, why don't we just try to do it on Zoom? We can do the reading on Zoom. So we did it, and it was pretty successful, I have to say. It was great.
That's great. Did you guys rewrite anything for Zoom, or did you just go with what you had?
I think when we rehearsed a little bit, we just adjusted a little bit, you know, but it was pretty much the play that we submitted, and it came off. I mean, we could, and there were a number of people who, of course, logged in and watched it. We had about 80 people watching.
Right.
It was amazing
That's
experience to see all these people and getting the play. I mean, the play did come across, even though like it looks like now, where everybody has individual windows.
Sure.
There's some wonderful challenges with doing it on Zoom and it was a big learning curve for me. I've never done anything like that before. And I think one of the most fun things we discovered was how you can connect the squares with props. So for example, there's a moment in the play where one character has an onion and throws it to the other character. And so both the actors had onions, and one character threw it, the other one caught it. And it actually worked. And we had a lot of props like that. And the actors were incredibly inventive. One of our actors, he was supposed to be eating an omelet. Well, there he was. He made an omelet. He was eating an omelet. It was really fun.
But when you were rehearsing, do you find did you find that you were learning about your play in rehearsals online as much or in a different way, I guess, than when you rehearse in person, hearing it out loud and hearing the actors read it?
I think there's a you have to kind of get over the medium first to get it takes a little more acclimation, but once you do, then you can see how everything's working and what needs work. But yeah, it just took a little more acclimation to the medium but it comes across, and so it is exactly the same thing as if you were just watching it there in the same room.
And we had a talk back after, so people actually could then ask questions and had comments, and we got some really good feedback, but we also got some very constructive feedback, and there's things we knew we wanted to change and fix, and we're rewriting it now, and Risa and Annie are like, maybe we should do another reading when you're done with the rewrite, just to see if it's landing,
Yeah, that's great.
And are you committed now to doing all of your theater online?
Well, I don't know if I'm committed to that, but it does open up a lot of possibilities.
We're
right?
never leaving our house.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's fantastic. So we're gonna, first of all, before we do that, I think if I've got the story right, and Risa and Annie, you'll correct me if I'm off here. Once this was either underway or had just happened, I think if I'm correct, the two of you came up with another idea. Am I right?
Yes. I'm going to let Annie.
Go.
I was going to let you do it, Annie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, our theater students and our theater audiences are in need more than ever, almost. And so rather than try and kind of consider this season at UCSB a wash, which of course we didn't want to do, and rather than try and, do these plays that we do, somehow squeeze them into the online format, we sort of said, well, let's not put lipstick on a pig. Let's reinvent the wheel in a way and create something that's perfect for Zoom. Mm-hmm. So why don't we reach out to all these wonderful playwrights? And it was Risa's idea to use the Launchpad alums, which is brilliant, and create meaningful challenges for our actors, our directors, our designers, and our audiences, as well as new opportunities for new pieces of work to be created.
So we reached out to all the writers who've ever worked with Launchpad over the years, and we said, would you be interested in writing a monologue and or a scene with the prompt Alone Together, with the idea that it's meant to be performed on Zoom, so that performing on Zoom is not any kind of compromise. And 24 people answered the call. And the plays are glorious. I mean, it's been just a treat every day, plays coming in, and I read it and I send it to Annie, and it's just been so much fun. And we now have 40 pieces and over 100 roles for our students, and we're going to bring in guest artists as well to work with us, both directing and also acting and hopefully design even. And
Deb and Dan have work in it.
And Deb and Dan.
Yes, yeah. That's exciting, yeah.
And Annie has up 2 pieces in it as well. So it's going to be really fun.
And his performance is like over a series of different days, right? Is that?
It's actually going to be one day, Saturday, June 6th. And we're going to perform it live on Zoom, but we're going to probably do it in segments. And so it'll be probably like hour-long segments. We haven't figured out. Annie and I are going to get together in the next few days and read all the plays out loud, so we know how long they are. And then our directing students kind of get the first pick of the plays, and then our guest directors, faculty directors, we will take the next round, and then we'll figure out what kind of a schedule they'll be on.
How long is each play?
No more than 10 minutes, and I'd say the monologues are, somewhere between 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Yeah, so it could be a lot of material.
What was great when you guys had the prompt of that, it makes you, even if you look at like an old sketch we wrote or something, and you think, oh, it's very verbal. Verbal stuff works great on Zoom, right? And also thinking about separate spaces, like actually thinking like your stage is this square, but is this other person in a similar space? Are they at home? I mean, and what can you do to dress physically the space and the people and props? I think it kind of becomes a new way of thinking about this format.
Really interesting.
Such a cool assignment. I love
it.
It really is.
We're really excited about it.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple other writers who contributed to this that we should bring on now. So I'll start the introductions while the magical unseen Miss Terry, our stage manager, brings people on stage, as it were. I'm so thrilled that they're joining us. Idris Goodwin is a playwright and a breakbeat poet. His plays include And in This Corner, Cassius Clay, How We Got On, Hype Man, and This is Modern Art. He serves on both the advisory boards of Theater for Young Audiences USA and the Children's Theater Foundation Association. Idris is the director of the Colorado Springs Fine Arts Center at Colorado College. And John Walsh, his plays have been produced and commissioned at theaters such as Center Theater, Actors Theater of Louisville, the Public Theater, Manhattan Theater Club, Alabama Shakespeare Festival, and the Edinburgh Fringe. He has won numerous awards and is a proud alum of New Dramatists in NYC. John currently heads the MFA playwriting program at the University of Arkansas. Welcome, y'all.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Idris.
Hi, Idris.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
what's going on? Yeah.
So glad you guys are here.
Sure.
So I want to know what was this like?
Idris first. All right, I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
I loved it. I think that there's a lot of. I mean, I understand this was a huge blow in a lot of ways. It really shook us all up as a field. However, these are some ancient skills, and these frameworks are just frameworks, but there was no stage or screen or any of that when cats were just sitting around the fire. So, what I mean? Honestly, it really wasn't. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I was like, it's cool. I mean, it's exciting. And and I went to film school. I'm just like interested in. I love the challenge of this one.
Yeah. Can you tell us what you wrote?
It's exciting. I wrote 2 pieces. A piece called Talk Tomorrow, which is essentially 2 siblings checking in and having the same kind of like banal conversation we have on these platforms with our loved ones when we're checking in. There's so much we want to say, and so in wanting to say everything, we end up saying nothing. And then the other piece is called The Art of Coping, which is a play for one actor who is sort of sharing what she's learned about how to cope in a situation like this. So they're very topical pieces.
Nice.
I have to tell you, Idris, you were the first person to respond. I sent out the email, I think within like an hour. Idris is like, I'm in. I'm like, great.
Oh, that's great. Hi, John.
Hi, Joey. How are you?
I'm well. I'm glad you're visiting us from the Aurora Borealis. It's very nice. Tell us what you wrote.
Sure. I wrote a short play. I wrote a 10-minute play for 2 actors. I thought it was going to be really funny, and then it sort of just tipped into this dystopian world. It's called 2084. It's a sort of knockoff of 1984, the Orwellian book. And it's about a kid who's cursed to live his 21-year-old self because he put some bullshit up on Zoom during this pandemic. And he's trying to get it erased. And he's talking to a Zoom customer service agent. And the sort of notion is that they record everything. And you can't get away from yourself. And so yeah, it kind of goes down that Orwellian kind of path, but it's also kind of funny, I hope anyway. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to hear it. But it was a lot of fun to write, and I agree with Idris that, you know, I've been telling my students, the Dark Ages didn't kill theater. We're gonna get through this. We're adaptable, you know, and that's part of what we're doing. And so we've been telling stories for a long, long time, and we're gonna figure out how to continue to do that. So I agree, and it was fun to sort of like, oh, how do we adapt to this at this moment?
Yeah.
What, Deb and Dan, did you write a play too? What it was your play?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a couple pieces that we submitted.
Right. They're definitely more comedies. There's one where there's it's an online. It's using the Zoom as like an online sales seminar. So one is the one attendee that came because the woman whose sales seminar, she couldn't get any other students. So they're having that, and of course he's a bit of a misogynist. So there's a little bit going on between them. And the other piece is a couple, and the boyfriend has told the girlfriend to watch Citizen Kane, and he thinks it's his favorite movie, and he has to talk about it. And then
She just doesn't get it. She just thinks it's boring, overblown, and it's in black and white. She doesn't understand why anybody likes it. And she kind of makes some good points to his frustration.
And Annie, you wrote 2 pieces as well, is that right?
Yes, one is called The Safest Space. It's a short play for 2 actors, sort of along your lines, John, dystopian but funny. Is that funny right now? These 2 good friends who have an online relationship, and this is the day when their last system is breaking down, and they realize this is their last Zoom chat.
Wow.
Because they don't have any more parts to fix it, and the world has gone down the toilet, and it's a laugh riot. Yeah, it's hilarious. And the other is an online Zoom date of a woman who is a compulsive talker, and it's actually something I took from a play I'd previously written that I adapted. The play is called Pussycock. So someday that might be my next Zoom play. And it's, you know, it's really about loneliness, which is a lot of what we're all experiencing right now.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
I want to know, I mean, I'm so inspired that this program to solve one problem ended up coming up with a whole new program. I mean, had you intended, Risa, to produce something in June anyway?
Actually, the Launchpad play happened in the fall. So we got in under the wire there, Enid Graham's new play, which is a wonderful play called What Martha Did. So no, we were not going to, well, aside from doing Dan and Deb's reading and maybe another couple of readings. We were not planning a production in the spring, but we had, the department was to present 2 different plays. So we had, you know, we kind of felt, as Annie said earlier, we felt like we need to serve our students. We need to give them opportunities. And I think it's just been so much fun for me to reconnect with all these writers. I mean, many of whom we've been in pretty good touch, but just to, you know, and every day it's like opening my email and these beautiful gifts. And I just couldn't wait. I read it immediately and just be like, wow. So I can't wait for our students to read the material.
When is Alone Together happening, and can we see it?
Yes, June 6th. And
Okay.
I'll have to let you know the timing of the day when Annie and I figure that out. But it'll be Saturday, June 6th, and it'll be live.
You can absolutely watch.
Yeah.
I just want to add, Joey, that I think this is a time for all of us to think outside of the box. And another initiative we're doing at UCSB is I was teaching the seniors, and they normally do a showcase. Well, that ain't happening, right? So those seniors were breaking my heart, and wanted them to also have a meaningful artistic experience while providing content for them, for their reels, and to share with industry, you know, agents, managers. And so I reached out to 2 different friends who are writers. The wonderful Lynn Rosen, who is a New York writer, is creating a play for our 9 senior actors, specifically written for them, to be performed on Zoom. And another wonderful writer, Nancy Hauer, who's a television writer in LA, and she's creating another piece for those 9 seniors. And that's also going to be, both will be presented live, but also recorded so they can share it with industry and help them get a start in the industry as they graduate.
Yeah.
Oh, necessary.
Great.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
We're getting a message from Sarah Reville from the Guild that she has posted on Twitter the link to your program for June 6th. So people can see that on Twitter. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Christine. I hadn't looked over there for a minute, so I appreciate you doing that. And thank you, Sarah. So I want to hear from all the writers here. I mean, tell me other than you know, sitting at home and writing for Zoom, how is that? Is there anything else? What do you think? Let's just project for a minute away from this and into something more positive.
Well, this is the thing. I know the Dramatist Guild always lists, here are submission opportunities, right? And all these contests or submissions. And I kind of look at it, I kind of don't, and I know I should be more diligent. And right now there's not much else to do. So I'm looking at every single one and setting more deadlines. So all that great information we get from the Dramatist Guild to focus us and keep us on schedule, and we're finally doing, just because what else are you going to do? And plays again will be done, you know, so it could be years from now, but I think it's just getting your work done and getting it out. So that's been kind of great, having that time.
Good. Yay, team. And Sarah Reville, that we were just talking about, who was just sending us that message, is part of that team who sends you those submissions every day or every week. So yay, that's great. I don't know, what else? What else do you guys have? What are you thinking about, Idris?
Well, so in addition to writing these plays, and it's been a very exciting time for me, and writing has really been a great way to cope. My 2 sons for sure, and getting to see them and hang with them every day. But having, being home so much is just allowing me to get more writing done. And these sort of Zoom-oriented pandemic calls that I'm getting to write short things for Zoom have been just really reinvigorating. And it's forcing me to take a look at just like why I started, the writing voice that I developed before I started trying to get paid. And not that I have any major conflicts about getting paid.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
But there are things that you lose. There are things you get talked out of. There are things that are natural to your voice as a writer that you suppress or you alter in order to get produced or make the literary managers, care, whoop-de-woo. And now there's such a different pace to this now. Everyone's having to pivot fast that certain things I'm able to slip certain things over the net without question. That is very liberating. Feels very good. And then I have this other life as an arts leader, a director of an institution, and so pushing and trying to get everybody galvanized around this idea of us moving from a brick and mortar analog platform to a digital platform, essentially saying that there's nothing in our mission that says it has to be on a traditional stage. All it says is that we're trying to tell stories, we're trying to get people excited about art, we're trying to make people reflect, we're trying to tell a story of humanity. We are not that's been happening. It's not like people haven't been engaging with screens and stories on screen. Since the advent of the radio, people have been engaging in virtual storytelling. So we just got to catch up. This is just a moment for us to be like, okay, we don't have the keys to the stage anymore. So let's figure this out. And I'm enjoying it. I think I enjoy disruption.
Well, you got it.
I loved your video, Idris. I just watched it. So.
Me too. I love that. Yes, thank you for
Yeah,
that.
don't ever change anything for literary managers unless they've already commissioned your play. Good God.
Oh, but Amanda, I got my.
I know.
It's not that deep, but
your best self is never anything you do.
This time, it's all good. But yeah, it's all good.
All right.
John, how are you working with your students in Fayetteville?
Well, speaking of disruption, we should be we would be in the final weekend of our new play festival right now. So the wheels fell off right as the writers started to renovate their plays in pretty severe ways. So it's been, I think probably everybody on this call, there's an interesting spectrum of some of the students are just, devastated. They don't know what they're training for. What the hell am I doing? Fortunately, we're a paid program and that gives them health insurance and they're not paying money for it and going into debt. So it's been a lot of caretaking on one level. And then some are like, this is great. I got all this time. But they're also teaching. And so just moving them all, it's been a bit of a chaotic couple of weeks. But mostly I'm trying to, I do, and I invite all of you to send me your names. I do virtual mentorships with my students anyway, where I hook them up with a writer that I know or have a relationship with. And so those have been happening. They all had sort of resource artists attached to the new play festival. We're paying those artists still to try to get them some money and also to help the writers sort of put back together the play because they really had just started tearing them apart when we got shut down. So there's work still happening, and mostly my graduate students are, again, they're in this kind of a very wide spectrum, or some are just like, this is giving me the opportunity to focus solely on my work and not do all the bullshit that comes with being a graduate student. And then some of them are just, they're not in the happiest place. And because they're also, we only provide the stipend for 9 months. So they're all going into uncertainty over the summer about what, and all those gigs, as we know, gone, so anything that they had that's sort of in the pipeline. So it's been a lot of caretaking, I'll be honest. But it's been interesting, and I know we'll make it through. So.
Yeah, and I didn't realize you had the mentoring program. That's so terrific. And for anybody who's interested in doing that, I will say John's got amazing students.
Yeah, they're pretty good guys.
Fantastic students. Yes, I've had the opportunity to meet many of them.
Yeah.
So that's great. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We're right at our time, and I don't want to keep anybody late. thank you so much for joining us, everybody from
For
all.
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. I feel inspired by all of you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Christine. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Next time.
Hello, everyone.
Peace
Stay
out.
safe.
Thank you.